all my murder mystery girlies, tap in. All of my snapped girlies, tap in. Baby, this is some wild stuff. Disclaimer, okay? Disclaimer. This is my theory. Everything I'm about to say is alleged. If you've seen the stuff and if you know, I don't think the dad did it. I don't think he did it. I think he's taking a rap for it, but I don't think he did it. Cause I ain't leaving alone. Feel like I could be honest, babe. We both know that we're grown. That's why I wanna know. How many drinks would it take you to be with me? Yeah, you look good and I got money, but I don't wanna waste my... Listen to me. Procrastination is the name of the fucking game. My bad, my back, okay? I'm late, again. It's not my, I started to say it's not my fault. Lord. See how I just be lying? It is my fault. I'm days late. I meant to have this up on Tuesday. There's no reason for me to not have had this up. I'm a procrastinator. I don't know. I have a problem. Anyway, also sidebar, I really like that my hair looks like this. Like, I love when I can shape my hair in like a little bun and it like actually cooperates, you know? She's cute. She's good. I'm here for it. Hi. Welcome to my bubble where we do a little bit of adulting, a little bit of healing, and a little bit of creating. Look, okay? All my murder mystery girlies, tap in. All of my snapped girlies, tap in. All of my first 48 girlies, tap in. Let's talk, okay? If you, I'm such a bird. If you don't know, if you haven't heard, let me put you on to some crazy shit, right? Me personally, I'm not really I can't watch Snapped. Like, I already don't like people, and like life is already hard enough, and I don't need to be any more jaded by life by watching shit like Snapped and First 48, okay? As much the extent to which my cop TV-ness goes is like fiction TV, like SVU, the cute little CSI, cool, but no, just I need the theatrics. I can't do the real life shit, okay? Life is hard enough. I don't need anything else adding on to it. So, if you have not heard about the Murdaugh murders, baby, this is some wild stuff. I got put onto the documentaries by watching the Don't Call Me White Girl podcast. If you know, you know. She's very big documentary girly. So a while ago, she was like, she had recommended watching both the HBO Max one and the Netflix one. She was like, there's two. Watch the one on HBO Max. The HBO Max one is called The Low Country, and then the one on Netflix, right? So of course, I went and watched them both. Because, you know, even though I'm not a documentary girly, like, the topic has to be something that I want to watch, right? So I went and I watched it. Baby. So I did watch both. I watched, what is the main one? Come to find out, HBO Max has two versions, or like two different ones. HBO Max has two different ones up, and then there was the Netflix one. And I didn't know that Netflix was coming out with a season 2. So we'll circle back on this eventually. But today's notes are all going to be based on the HBO Max ones. So the one that I saw first on HBO Max is called Low Country, the Murdaugh Dynasty, right? And to me, that one is more so about, it is, but it's not. It's more so about the children of the Murdaugh family, and then just, you know, their fruit of the poisonous tree. So they go into the details of the tree. Whereas the Netflix documentary details all of the family's misdeeds. You get me? But in Low Country, you, like, if you know about the stuff, in Low Country, you hear from the boyfriend of the girl that died. You see the police interviews, like, from the corner. Like, you see the police interviews. You see the crime scene photos, like actual crime scene photos. Like, sidebar again, if you know, like, you see the actual pictures of Steven's body laying on the ground. It's just very, like, it's a lot. But, like, it's worth it, and it's necessary for the story. You know, HBO Max, Low Country is the HBO Max original, and if you know, HBO Max gonna get them details. Okay, HBO Max is not gonna leave nothing out. So that's the first one I saw. But then eventually, when I was like sharing forward, because the rest of my family, well, my mom and my oldest sister, they really love, like, they're very into Snapped and all that kind of stuff. So I was sharing forward, but I couldn't remember the name of it. So I was scrolling through HBO Max and came across this other one called Murdaugh Murders: The Deadly Dynasty. And I had put them onto that one, saying like that was the one. But even when I saw it, I'm like, this is not the one that I saw. But same difference, right? Tells the same story. But I recommend. When I saw it, I watched Low Country, and then I watched the Netflix version. I watched it in that order. I watched the HBO Max one, then I watched Netflix. Today, we are discussing just the HBO Max ones. Okay? Now, for context, most of the notes I took and the notes that I'm going to give you just to tell you the story of what happened and to lay it out for you are notes that I took when watching Murdaugh Murders: The Deadly Dynasty. But I also went back and rewatched Low Country, so I'm going to throw in a few tidbits here and there. Okay? So, let's get into it. If you have not seen, if you don't know, if you have not heard, I don't know how, because even Lifetime has made a movie at this point, and once Lifetime gets their hands on it, it's a wrap, you know? So if you don't know, Cliff Notes version, the Murdaugh family is this family that was basically in charge of the entire legal system for this county, for Hampton County in South Carolina, right? Oh, sidebar, put this out here. Disclaimer, okay? Disclaimer. This is my theory. Everything I'm about to say is alleged. This is just how I see it, because if you've seen the stuff and if you know, I don't think the dad did it. I don't think he did it. I think he's taking a rap for it, but I don't think he did it. Let's get into it, right? So let's just go in order of the notes, just so I can follow a train of thought. Because if you know, I'm gonna get all over the place. The Deadly Dynasty documentary, right? It starts off talking about this boating accident that happened in 2019, right? The youngest boy, Paul Murdaugh, in this family, short version, he caused this boating accident. Him and his friends went out on doing what they usually do, right? They went out boating, drinking, having some fun. If you know about how country people get, you know how country people have fun, right? And it's a small town in the middle of South Carolina. So if you know, you know. So they went out trying to have a night of fun, regular, degular. They get into this fatal boat crash. It's 6 friends, 3 girls, 3 guys, 3 couples. Duh. So it's a crazy story. Watch the documentary for all the details to get into it, right? So Paul causes this boat accident in 2019, right? His friend, Anthony Cook, his girlfriend goes missing as a result of the boat crash. I mean, she doesn't go missing, she ends up dying. But like in the midst, the boat hits, they hit this bridge. 3 of them fly out of the boat. 3 of them are still in the boat, but are stupid injured. And basically, Paul comes out the water, Anthony comes out the water. Anthony's girlfriend, Mallory, is gone. She disappears. They can't find her, right? So once they call all the police and everybody's like, Anthony's obviously irritated and upset because they were sitting on the boat and they're literally... Anthony and Mallory are literally holding each other because Paul is shit-faced. Ooh. Yeah, he's wasted and hits the throttle, so they know like this. He's not driving safe, so they're literally holding each other, and then they hit the bridge, and they go flying out of each other's arms. Anthony comes up, Mallory does not. Like, trauma? Please, we'd have to scrap. We'd never be friends again. Like, I'm so sorry about it, but I'm really not. But whatever. So, all the police are there, they're talking, they're chit-chatting, now it's a crime scene, whatever. Anthony literally says to the police officer, Alex Murdaugh? That's his son. Good luck. That should tell you enough, right? But okay, let's get into it. So the Murdaughs have been in control of the legal system of Hampton County for 4 generations. So literally from 1920 all the way down to 2021, when Paul's father was in charge, because Paul's father was in charge from 2006 to 2021. So, but prior to him, his father, grandfather, great grandfather were all in control of this one county. Now in South Carolina, they don't have a DA. They have what they call a solicitor, right? And their DA is in control of 4 to 5 different counties, right? So they are the law in this county. From 1920 to 2006, this one family is in control of the legal system, on top of other members of the family owning a law firm, right? So the first family member, like the great-great-great-grandfather, the first one who started it, he's elected DA, right? He's elected solicitor. Then the first guy is the father of Buster Sr. Buster Sr., or Big Buster, is Randolph III's father, and Randolph III's father, and Randolph III is the father of Alex Murdaugh, right? Okay. And then outside of them being solicitor, over here, they run, or they're part of a law firm called PMPED. It's initials for everybody's last name or whatever, right? M stands for Murdaugh. But PMPED is known as the Murdaugh firm. So either way, right? They're in control of not only the system, who gets prosecuted, who gets charged with what, how long they're in prison, but also their lawyers. Crazy, right? With this boat crash, right? The night of the boat crash in 2019, first call Paul makes is to his father. To his grandfather, Randolph III. They call him handsome or whatever. But so Paul calls his grandfather first. Cause, hello, who you gonna call? He's thinking 4 steps ahead, like, damn, I'm in trouble. I'm gonna need them to get me out of this. Call my grandfather, right? And the grandfather is not acting as solicitor anymore, but he's still part of the law firm. And again, this name holds weight in this county, right? So if Randolph III says get some shit done or make some shit disappear, that's just how it's gonna go. So Paul first thought, call my grandfather, right? Fast forward, they leave the scene of the boat crash and everybody heads to the hospital, right? Grandpa and Alex Murdaugh, Paul's dad, show up to the hospital, right? And they show up instantly saying, like, we're gonna talk to him, we're his lawyer, right? Like, don't say nothing. I mean, don't ask him no more questions. We're showing up as his lawyer, obviously, right? Of course, for that, with that same authority, they go around into the other kids' hotel rooms, hospital rooms, right? Basically, they're trying to get everybody on the same page. They're trying to establish the same story, or really, only the family members of the kids are supposed to be allowed in their hospital room, right? Nope. But because they're the Murdaughs and because they are the law in this county, they can do what they want. So of course they're going in and trying to coerce everybody, like, don't say Paul was driving, don't say Paul was driving, don't say Paul was driving, right? Because the fuck, a girl is missing. Supposedly, sidebar, somebody heard Randolph III be like, oh, that girl's gone, there's no need to worry about her. Like, sympathy? No? Alright, whatever though. But, you know, they're just trying to get everybody on the same page because they don't want Paul to face criminal charges, right? Whole time, when they find Mallory's body, they find her cause of death was ruled as blunt force trauma and drowning, right? Which that was what I was thinking anyway, because ain't no way 3 of y'all get ejected from the boat and she doesn't come up. Like, she had to fly from the boat so hard, bang her head on some shit, and it was a wrap for that, right? So blunt force trauma, and then she drowned. Cool. Now, with this boating accident, the whole family is liable, okay? Paul is 19 at the time. He's drunk, shit-faced, wasted, right? And the boat he's driving belongs to Alex Murdaugh. the solicitor of the county at the time. Bam. Paul's liable, Alex is liable, off the rip. Okay? And Paul used his older brother Buster's ID to buy the alcohol. That is part of the reason everybody's wasted, right? Everybody's liable. Paul, in theory, his brother, because, you know, they could always say, like, he stole it or whatever. But, like, Paul, Buster, Alex, immediately all liable, right? So I think the boat crash was in, like, March or whatever. So then in April of 2019, Paul is indicted, right? Which the whole town is already like, he's actually getting indicted? Like, he's actually being held responsible? Because for a century, this family makes people disappear. Nothing happens. It's like very SVU when Stabler got what's the name out of the DUI or the driving accident or whatever the fuck it was. Very that, but times 15, right? So Paul is indicted in 2019 with a felony BUI, boating under the influence, and 2 additional BUIs for the friends that got injured. So off the rip, Paul is looking at 25 years. Okay? They can't have that. They can't have that. This family has been the law for a century. What do you mean he's facing charges? No, he's not. Right? Let's keep going. So when Paul shows up to the indictment, like he shows up to court, right? He shows up to Bond's court. He shows up in a suit rather than in a jail jumpsuit like anybody else would show up in. He barely even gets processed. They take his mugshot in the hallway of the court, and then he's released ROR. Basically meaning he can go home with his family, and that's it, right? Now, when he got released, he was told he's not allowed to drink. Now, of course, he's seen later that day and or later that week partying, because he can do what he wants. He's a Murdaugh, right? Okay. Now, it's mentioned and it's put out there that Paul liked to kill little animals as a kid, right? He liked to kill like little squirrels and little like small animals. Again, if you watch SVU and or if you just know about certain cop shit and or if you're into psychology, killing small animals is one of the first, especially as a kid, is one of the first signs of like, which one is it? Sociopath? Psychopath? One of the two. It's one of the first signs, right? Okay? Paul liked to kill little animals as a kid. And he apparently started drinking, or rephrase, he has been drinking since the age of 14, 15. Okay? Heavy drinking. Again, if you know country stuff, it's a small town. They only got so many things they can do. Okay? So he's been drinking like a college kid since the age of 14, 15. Okay? Okay. And it's known, or by the time he's 19 and by the time this is all happening, right? It's known Paul is basically, Paul is Paul sometimes, but when he's drunk, he becomes Timmy. He has a completely different, he has a drunk alter ego. He becomes a different person when he's drunk, right? Keep that in mind. Or, not keep that in mind, but when you watch the documentaries, you'll see Timmy come out and you'll learn like his tell signs for when Timmy is here and when Paul is here, right? So, fast forward again. 2 years after Paul gets indicted, which was already a semi-win, right? Not win, but it was already a big deal. 2 years later, 2021, Paul is supposed to go to court in June of 21 to start trial for the boating accident, right? Wrong. 3 days before the trial is set to start, Paul and his mother are murdered. The Moselle hunting plantation is 1,800 acres owned by the Murdaugh family, right? Paul and his mother are found dead on the Moselle hunting plantation 3 days before the first hearing of this trial, okay? Paul is found half in and half out of dog kennels, shot in the head with a shotgun, okay? His mother, Maggie, is found 15, 30 feet away from him, shot multiple times with an automatic rifle. Already strange. First of all, sidebar, go back. They shot Paul. Paul being shot with a shotgun, it wasn't an accident. It wasn't like That was intentional. That was a plan. You know how you ever seen somebody get shot? Well, you ever seen a shotgun shoot anything? Period. Like, baby, shotguns do damage. You hear me? Damage. He was found. They said he was damn near decapitated. That's how much damage. Because he was shot close range with the shotgun twice. They said he was damn near decapitated because he got shot in the like head neck area. Yikes. So, right, the coroner ruled the time of death to be about 9:30 p.m. Alex Murdaugh, the father, calls the police at 10:07 p.m. Right? Okay. Police thinking, or the only details that the police released to the public was the police say it was a targeted killing. Like, they're not giving out any other details, which is strange, or which one of the people in the documentary says is strange, because, you know, there's always leaks in a police case, like, you know, and they're telling the public, like, the public is not in danger. So they know who did it. They're just not giving out no details, right? And supposedly, or the lawyer put out there that Maggie and Paul didn't have any life insurance. So that was supposed to be a big sell of, like, were they killed for the life insurance money? The lawyer's like, that there was no life insurance on them too. Okay? Oh, excuse me. 2 weeks into investigating Paul and Maggie's murder, SLED, what is it? One of the other, like, as the state police, or whatever the fuck, right? 2 weeks later, SLED reopens a 6-year-old murder case, the case of Stephen Smith. They reopened that case due to details that they found while investigating Paul and Maggie's murder, right? Nobody knows what they found. To this day, nobody, well, I don't know if season 2 put the details out, but nobody has said what details they found. That's the reason that they reopened Stephen's case. The family doesn't know, the town doesn't know, the police aren't saying. They're just saying they reopened that case because of something that they found investigating Paul and Maggie's murder. Okay. Now, to get into Stephen, right? Let's get into Stephen. I always forget that that's up there. Like, that's very ghetto, but whatever. Act like you don't see those wigs up there. Let's get into Stephen's murder, okay? Go back. Rewind. 2015. At the time, 19-year-old Hampton native Stephen Smith is found dead in the middle of the road. Stephen was an openly gay boy who was in the process of, who was in nursing school but wanted to become a doctor. Like, he was in the process of becoming a doctor, right? Stephen is found laying in the middle of the street, like he's laying on the yellow lines. Stephen is found in the middle of the street with a blunt force trauma, head and face laceration. His clothes and the rest of his body are intact. His shoes are on his feet. His phone is in his pocket. Officially, it's named a hit and run, right? When originally, first glance, one of the investigators say originally they named it a homicide, but the official report that came out, they named it a hit and run. The police troopers, the state troopers, they're all like, bro, this is not a hit and run. But the rationalization for making it a hit and run was because he was found in the middle of the street. That's the only, like, justification. When all the other troopers, the state troopers, the local troopers, they're all like, bro, this is not a hit and run. There's no car debris anywhere. His shoes are on his feet. The body did not tumble. There's no other blood spatter anywhere else. His clothes are not torn. His phone is in his pocket, for God's sake. Like, it's not a fucking hit and run. Whatever, though, right? Officially, it's a hit and run. Stephen's head injury goes from for me, this is my right, but for you guys, Stephen's injury goes from the top right of his head down to the bridge of his nose, right? And the people are saying, think like something like a baseball bat or some other, like, linear object, okay? Makes the head injury. Stephen's car is found 3 miles from where 3 miles down the road from where his body was found. And the story is Stephen, quote unquote, ran out of gas, and was going to get gas for the car, but his car was found unlocked and his wallet was in his car. How he going to get gas with no money? And later on, his mom said he was walking in the wrong direction. Like, his body was found more so going home towards his dad's house, towards his dad's house, when the gas station is back that way. But again, even so, if you're going to get gas, why are you leaving your wallet in the car? And everybody else is like, bro, you had your phone. Like, why wouldn't he just sit with the car and call somebody to come get him? All valid questions, right? Okay, let's keep going. Now, supposedly, Randy Murdaugh, which is Alex Murdaugh's brother, apparently he reached out to Stephen's parents and like called them and was like, oh, do you need representation, blah, 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 blah. Because Randy's also a lawyer with PMPED. Okay? So, but PMPED is a personal injury lawyer. Why are they reaching out to Stephen's family when he died? Right? Okay. Now, there were rumors that Buster Murdaugh, Paul's older brother, so you have Paul, how do we do this? You have Paul, Buster, who are the sons of Alex. Alex is the next line of all the Murdaugh solicitors, right? Next to Alex, you have Randy, the brothers, okay? I don't know about Randy's kids, whatever. But it's all the solicitors. It's Randolph the first, Big Buster, also Randolph the second, Randolph the third, who was the father to Alex and Randy, under Alex, Buster, and Paul. Okay? Okay. There are rumors that Buster Murdaugh was a cis and supposedly was having a romantic relationship with Stephen. Okay? Stephen and Buster went to the same high school. In the process of the Stephen investigation, the Murdaugh name is dropped multiple times. And absolutely everything is swept under the rug. Everything. And Buster didn't say a word. Like, Buster wasn't interrogated once. He didn't, apparently people say he did not express any sort of remorse or whatever, but like, he remained silent. Like, he has that right, and there was nothing that the police could do about it. Right? And the folks say after Stephen's murder, he was sent off places. Like, wherever. First they said he went to school out of town, then he got out of the country, then whatever. Okay. That's the first time we've heard that. Powerful white boy gets sent away after tragedy happens. Whatever though. Right? So, after we learn about Stephen's case being reopened based on things they found for Paul and Maggie's murder, then we learn about another body attached to the Murdaugh name and properties. Gloria Satterfield was the nanny, assistant, the housekeeper at I'm pretty sure it was the Moselle plantation. She was a housekeeper for 20 plus years. When she started, Paul was a 1-year-old, okay? So she's been with them. She raised both of those kids, basically. Gloria Satterfield dies due to injuries that she sustained at their hunting lodge in 2018. So let's keep this timeline up, okay? 2015, Stephen is found murdered. 2018, Gloria Satterfield falls down. She trips over the dogs and falls down the stairs at a house that she's been working at for 20 years. Okay. 2019, Paul causes the boating crash. Okay? He's indicted. This is the first time a Murdaugh family member on record is facing any charges. 2021, right before his trial starts, Paul and his mother are murdered. Okay? Okay. If that doesn't sound like a hit to you, I don't know what is, right? But let's keep going. I'm gonna give you the details and then I'm gonna give you my theory, because my theory gotta be at the end. Because everybody I've told my theory to, they're like, My mom was like, I didn't even think about that. And my manager, who is very much into spooky, into all things like murder mystery, is very her bag. And she was like, ooh, I see that. I'm telling you, nobody thought about it, but bitch, I'm thinking about it, okay? This is my first thought. This is how I saw it happening. Anyway, let's keep going. Right? 2018, Gloria Satterfield falls down the stairs. Maggie, the mother, makes the 911 call. First she's talking to them, and then Paul gets on the phone and like gets snippy with the 911 operator. Right? Already crazy, because bitch, why are you getting snippy with whatever though? So Paul tells the operator that she's cracked her skull, that Gloria has cracked her skull. She's laying on the floor bleeding, and she's bleeding out of her left ear and from her head. Now, Gloria, even though she spent most of her time working at the hunting lodge and working for the Murdaughs, she also like did other stuff, because when she's a mother, she has kids, like she has a life outside of that, right? So at one of the other places that she was working at, one of the natives, who discusses and details in the documentary when you watch it, the native details a conversation that she had with Gloria, where, you know, she just asked Gloria like, okay, Gloria, how was your day? Like, what you been up to? Blah, blah, blah. And Gloria says how Paul, when he was 5 years old, Paul runs into the kitchen, grabs a kitchen knife, and goes, I'm gonna kill that mofo squirrel. Like, at 5 years old, buddy? Like, what are we? But again, they said Paul liked to kill small animals when he was younger. Okay. Now, Gloria's injuries, she had brain hemorrhaging, she had a subdural hematoma, and she had broken ribs. She was in the hospital for weeks, but she eventually died in the hospital due to her injuries, right? Now, the death certificate officially puts the cause of death as a natural cause of death. Now, what is her name? The pathologist, I guess one of the people who like investigates crimes or whatever, she's like, a subdural hematoma is almost always from an inflicted trauma, right? So now everybody's raising the question, did she fall or was she pushed, right? Either way, a subdural hematoma is not a natural cause of death, right? But again, it's swept under the rug, right? Stephen's case was cold until whatever they found during Paul and Maggie's murder. Stephen's case went cold, and then they reopened it. Gloria's case was named a natural death. It's all just swept under the rug, right? Okay. Either at or shortly after Gloria's funeral, Alex then goes up to Gloria's sons and is basically like, not sugaring them up, but like giving his condolences and, oh, I'm so sorry, and blah, blah, blah. Basically telling them that he can help and that her sons should sue him because he wants to take responsibility because it happened on his property, and he wants to do right because she's been working for his family for so long, this, that, and the third. Okay? And said his dogs were the cause and blah, 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 blah. It was his dogs, it's his fault, it's his property. Y'all should sue me. Let me help you sue me. Right? Whatever. So they're going through that whole process, and Gloria's sons are told, okay, we're doing this, you're gonna sue me, it's gonna come from the insurance company, you just gotta wait for the settlement money. Okay? Now, in the midst of all the press and everything about Paul and Maggie's murder, a reporter puts in the newspaper that Gloria's case received a settlement for $505,000. The reporter came across the information while investigating the boat crash. This is the first time the sons are ever hearing about it. Again, Gloria dies in 2018. The boat crash is in 2019. This is the first time the sons are hearing about a $500,000 settlement, right? Okay. Again, go back. So then we learned that in 2015, the same year Stephen died, In 2015, Alex opens a Bank of America account, a personal bank account called Forge. It's under his name. It's a personal bank account that says blah 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 Alex Murdaugh, doing business as Forge. Now, to people in the legal system, that makes it look like it's a company in relation to Forge Consulting. Now, Forge Consulting is a valid, it's a real law firm, that it's a settlement funding company that basically that handles these type of cases, and will basically, rather than giving you a lump sum payment, they'll give you the payments in increments over time, right? So Alex naming the account Forge, to most people, or to people who know, would make it seem like these payments are having to deal with Forge Consulting, right? Wrong. This is a personal bank account for Alex himself. Okay? 2018, Gloria dies. He tells Gloria's sons to sue him for the insurance money. They agree, but they're like, and then Alex is like, oh, y'all should have a representative for your mother's estate, to, you know, because you don't speak legal terminology and things can be a lot, so you should just have somebody be a representative, right? So of course Alex represents one of his friends to be the representative, and it's like, once you have a representative for your estate or whatever, they represent you in court. Like, you don't have to be there, you don't have to say a word, right? So of course Alex throws his friend one, right? So let's keep going. The first settlement amount goes to the Gloria estate rep, which is Alex's friend, for $505,000. But there's apparently a second policy for $3.8 million. $3.8 million was from the second policy. The boys know nothing about it. Okay, they don't. The Gloria sons know nothing about either amount, right? Her sons learn about the $505,000 in the newspaper after the reporter found out about it while looking at the boat crash. So they don't even know about the $3.8 million, right? So when lawyers find this out, right, that he took this money, they're looking and they're like, bro, this can't be the first time that he did this, right? Like, your first time stealing money, you don't steal $4.3 million, right? So they keep looking. Come to find out, he also stole from a Hampton County patrol officer, one of the natives who was injured in 2018 during like a snowstorm or whatever. Because again, PMPED is a personal injury firm. So when he got injured, of course he went to the Murdaugh firm. Stole that money too. Funny enough, that patrol officer was also one of the people involved in Stephen's case. One of the people who helped look for miles for car debris to try and make it a hit and run, and found nothing. Stole his money too. Ain't that crazy? So then PMPED is looking, I don't know if they're looking at Alex's financials specifically, or they're looking at their accounts in general, but come to find out, PMPED finds quote, financial misappropriation within the client accounts and within their accounts. So they force him out, right? Oh, that's when, sidebar, that's when they call the patrol officer in 2021 to say, like, look, Alex took your money, we're gonna get it back, okay? We're gonna fix it, whatever. We don't got it for you because he took it, but we're gonna get it back. Sidebar, my thing is, I feel like if Alex didn't take any money from them, they wouldn't have given a fuck. But like, if it was just the clients and they didn't take from the other members of PMPED, they would have been like, well, tough titty. But they're like, not you took our money too, so they, you know, had to save face. But whatever. So September of 2021, Labor Day weekend, the partners of PMPED confront Alex about the embezzlement, and they force him out of the firm. The next day, Alex is shot in the head while getting someone to help him fix his flat tire. right? Like the plot thickens. Like it's just it's so much, right? So let's just big picture, right? Big picture. Alex is looking at lawsuits from the boat crash because he's liable because it was his boat that crashed, right? Alex is looking at lawsuits from the boat crash where not only was it his boat, but also now they lost a child, right? Mallory died. Alex is dealing with the boat crash. He's dealing with Mallory's death. He's being accused of embezzlement by his own law firm. And now they're looking into the death of Stephen Smith because of details that they found during his son and wife's double homicide. Right? Same difference. Murder, homicide. Homicide is a type of murder, whatever. Right? And now we're finding out that he took money, or the first time we're finding out that he took money was from Gloria Satterfield's death, which was also on his property. And he tried to claim credit for it, saying his dogs did it. Okay? Like, he's already going down. He's in the thick of it. Like, okay? Alex is already, he's in quicksand, right? So the story is, well, Alex's story changed. Originally it was he stopped and was fixing a flat tire because he was driving his deceased wife's Mercedes going wherever the fuck, and the tire blew out, and he was fixing his flat tire. He flagged down some guy to help him do it. So when he turned around to fix the tire, the guy shot him in the head. But then it became like it was a suicide attempt because he just was dealing with so much with the murder of his blah blah blah, and he was like, all right, I'm gonna just kill myself and let Buster get his 10 million life insurance policy, right? Oh, maybe that's I have to call mom because something, never mind, right? So, but Alex thought Buster wouldn't get the 10 million. Like, he thought the suicide would invalidate it, so he hired a man to kill him so that Buster could get the 10 million one. Sorry, I've got alarms and all kind of shit going on, right? So in court some days later, now Alex is in court for not only the previous embezzlement, but now he's facing insurance fraud due to the attempted suicide, right? Alex shows up to court, regular clothes, not in the prison garb, right? And everybody's looking at the back of his head, obviously, because he's facing the judge, right? So everybody behind him is staring at the back of his head because that's where he supposedly got shot. Don't nobody see no bullet graze. Okay? Deadly Dynasty says by December 2021, he's facing 75 charges, right? Including fraud, embezzlement, theft, forgery, whatever. And he's supposedly facing 731 years in prison. Okay? That's the synopsis. This is the Murdaugh murders, right? Now, let's get into let's throw in a few extra tidbits from Low Country, right? Okay. Like I said, the family were the solicitors of this little county, or this little town, from 1920 to 2021. Okay, for 100 years they have control over this little town. People are afraid to even mention their name because they're in control of this town, right? The family is solicitors from 1920. PMPED, the law firm, has been around since 1910. So they were lawyers first, and then became the DA of the whole surrounding counties. One of the boys who was on the boat during the boat crash, his father grew up with Alex, because it's a small town, everybody knows everybody grew up together, right? So his dad, Connor's dad, played on the same football team as Alex. And he says, Connor's dad says, he was around to see Big Buster and aka Randolph II. And he would, like, the rumors of Big Buster making people disappear were very much real. So says Connor's dad. And he says Alex like always needed to be the winner, and he's always gonna let you know I'm a Murdaugh, right? Like he was very one of those. Okay, so the Murdaughs not only have sway over the people because everybody thinks they're these upstanding people and it's like they can do no wrong, but they also have sway over the entire legal system, right? You scratch my back, I scratch yours. Again, not far-fetched. Okay. Yeah, because Alex is friends with all of the law enforcement. They're sharing basketball tickets and baseball tickets and whatever. If you know how power structures go, you know. Okay? If you don't, we can talk about it in the comments and I'll explain it to you. Comment though. Right? So it's just so much. Corey Fleming is the friend that Alex recommended to Gloria's sons. But also, Corey Fleming is the one that Alex tried to convince Connor's parents that he should represent him because they were going to try and have Connor take the fall for the boat crash. What? Corey Fleming is Buster, Paul's older brother, Alex's first son. Corey Fleming is Buster's godfather. There are just so many conflicts of interest. It's ridiculous, right? And I don't know if Connor's dad said he heard this or somebody told this to him, but oh no, Connor's dad was told if Buster Murdaugh was still alive, Connor would be crab bait and there would be no problem to worry about. Again, because they were trying to make Connor take the fall for the boat crash when it was Paul's fault. Also, when I guess before Paul called his grandfather the day of the boat crash, Paul's taking off clothes, he's taking off his phone, like, right? He was naked that night, right? Now, all of a sudden, Paul's phone and clothes are missing from evidence, right? Of course, we misplace stuff all the time. And there are some other things like missing from the actual boat, like the crime scene itself. Where did it go? Now, the third day of the search for Mallory, because they didn't find her till a week later. 3 days into the search, Anthony, Mallory's boyfriend, the girl who died is Mallory, her boyfriend Anthony, him and his parents were at the scene every single day looking for her, or while people were looking for her. Anthony's mother just needs a minute. It's a lot, right? She needs a minute to herself, so she goes to sit in the car. The third day of the search, Maggie Murdaugh hops in the back seat of the truck that Anthony's mother is sitting in and basically asks her opinion on what's going on. Like, asks her opinion and her perspective on things and on the whole search and on the boat crash and on whatever. And then Maggie gonna raise the question, well, what do you think will happen if they don't find her? And that was the last time Anthony's mother talked to her. Because she was like, I'm not gonna entertain this conversation. Like, she said she would like see her in grocery stores and whatever, but she paid to dust and would go another way. As she should, because what? But whatever. So then, like I said, Paul was facing 55 years for the BUI and for Mallory's death. He never touched a holding cell. He was never really booked because, like I said, they took his picture in the hallway of the court. And he never even got handcuffed. He didn't walk into the court in handcuffs. After he was indicted, he didn't leave in handcuffs. The people went over there to handcuff him, but they all looked at the person and, you know, his family was like, nah, you don't gotta handcuff him. And again, he walked out the doors, took his mugshot in the hallway, and went home. Like, what? So then, June 2021, the double homicides happened. Anthony's mom says the reason that Anthony felt sorry for Paul was because, quote, every little thing that you do is based upon who you are, right? Like, that's a lot of pressure. Like, you're the next Murdaugh in the line. Like, what are you gonna do? Type shit, right? Now, in Low Country, we see Low Country to me is more in depth, and I feel like if you watch Low Country, you don't really have to watch Deadly Dynasty, but if you want to watch both, that's your business. But so then in Low Country, we learn more about Steven, and we learn about his friends and how they were the outcasts, but like the skating rink was their safe place. And we learned that when Randy offered to investigate Steven's death, The only thing that he wanted was all of Steven's electronics, all of his passwords, his Facebook, like access to his Facebook. He didn't ask any questions. He just wanted those things. The day that Steven died, his twin sister went to go get him from Exxon because he said his car wouldn't crank. So she said it looked like somebody had loosened like the battery connections. So she jumped his car, she fixed it, and she followed him all the way home. She says Steven gets in the shower, he gets dressed, he's out the door by 6 o'clock. That's the last time she saw him. But she also said Steven was acting secretive for a few weeks leading up to his death, right? And then, like I said, the story was he was walking to the gas station, phone is in his pocket, wallet is in the car, he's walking in the wrong direction. The math isn't mathing, right? Sidebar, the only thing that I kind of had issue with in that, or that I didn't take kindly to in Low Country, was his twin sister was like Emmett Till's mother, I wanted to make the same remark. Like, look at what they did to my brother. Because, you know, they had an open casket for Steven. And it's like, I get what you're saying, and I hear you, but, like, don't use Emmett Till, okay? Don't, like, you don't have to do that. But that's just my personal tidbit on that, right? As the investigators are talking about Steven, and they're talking into all these other things, everybody's like, look, it's a small community. You wouldn't understand. Like, nobody wants to go on the record to say, I heard this, I heard the Murdaugh name dropped, I heard this, I heard this, I heard this, right? Some of the people that they actually did get to talk to, when they circled back around trying to talk to them, they're no longer there. The phones are disconnected, their houses are empty, like, so they just thought that, like, they were incentivized to leave, you know, like paid vacations and, like, just paid to leave altogether. Right? Now, Steven played on the same baseball team as Buster. And of course, Alex was the coach. Right? So, Buster is, you know, the quiet type, the studious one, the one who likes school. Right? He's serious about his studies. Buster is the favorite child. Buster is the golden boy. Okay? Paul is the troublemaker, the I'm a Murdaugh, beat my chest, I don't give a fuck what you gotta say, okay? Now, you know, when you're graduating and when you're a senior from high school, they always ask, like, what are you gonna do? What are your next steps? Whatever, whatever. And Buster's plans were, well, for the summer, I'm gonna intern at my family's law firm, and then I'm gonna go to USC Law School. Now, Steven told his mother that he was going deep sea fishing with a, quote, prominent person, but he wouldn't give his mother the name, right? He never got to go on the trip. He was murdered before he could go on the trip, okay? Now, Steven told his cousin that he had a little, you know, yeah from Hampton County that was a person of power. But he wouldn't tell his cousin who it was either, because he said, if I tell you this name, quote, the whole Hampton County would be shook. Add that to the rumors of Buster and Steven having a romantic relationship. 2 + 2 is 4. But you know, it's all hearsay, right? It's all hearsay, right? Okay. Now, and then just extra heartbroken. 3 months after Steven died, 3 months to the day that Steven died, his father died of, on paper, a heart attack in his sleep. But Steven's mother just thinks like he died of a broken heart. Which again, like, flashback to the parent who died, basically of a broken heart after whichever school shooting it was. Like, it's just like, it's just too much, right? But the day Steven's dad died, he told his friend, the Murdaugh boys murdered my son. He said he didn't know for sure. He said the Murdaugh boys murdered my son because Steven was gay and he was seeing Buster. Now, Steven's dad's friend asks, like, how you know that? Like, he's like, I know my son. Like, I know I have no proof that it was the Murdaugh boys, but I'm telling you, the Murdaugh boys killed my son because Steven was gay and he was seeing Buster. Yikes, right? Then you got this attorney being like, bro, we're in South Carolina. Like, where we're from, people don't miss. Whether we're talking about a deer or we're talking about a person, people don't miss. So there's no way that Alex hired this dude to shoot him in the head and he missed. Like, we don't miss. Then the Murdaugh family doesn't want to comment when they are when HBO people like ask them for a comment on Steven's death. They hear nothing back. The morning of the suicide attempt, Alex reveals that he's had this 20-year opioid addiction and now he's going to rehab instead of prison, and right, all this and this. I forget who it was, but somebody basically made the quote of like, this is the culmination of years of no accountability, which, yes, right? So, and then then HBO gets further into, because again, the first time you steal money, you don't steal 4.3 million. So now we're learning of Hakeem Pickney and Johnny Bush and Blonda Gary and Trooper Moore and Malik Williams and Jamie and Risher and all these other clients that Alex took 700,000 from here, 112,000 here, 100,000 here, 40,000 here, 90,000 here. Like, apparently within a 10-year span, he stole almost close to 10 million. I think it was like 8.5. He stole like $10 million, right? From all his clients. He took money from all minorities, injured people, people who couldn't help themselves. Sound familiar? Whatever though, right? Okay, we're leading up to my theory, right? Here's the story according to Alex's defense attorney. Here's how the story goes. The day of the double homicide, Alex gets home at around 6 o'clock. He takes Paul with him and they go like investigate the grounds of Moselle. They come back home. Alex, Paul, and Maggie, they sit down and have a family dinner, right? Blah, 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 blah. Maggie supposedly leaves the house to go run the dogs. And then Paul leaves because Paul does what Paul does and Paul's never home. So Paul goes wherever he goes. And Alex goes to sleep on the couch. Okay? Paul wakes up and wants to go see his mother. But before he leaves, he calls Maggie. She doesn't answer, so he texts her, I'll be right back. Alex hops in the car. From 9:03 to 9:21, you have these specific times, but whatever. From 9:03 to 9:21 p.m., Alex is on the phone while he's driving to his mother's house, right? He's about to pull up to his mother's house, so at 9:21, he apparently calls his mother's nurse aide to let him into the house. He gets there, he sees his mom, he sits with her for like 20 minutes. His mom has dementia. He sees her, he sits there for about 20 minutes, and then he heads back home. On his way back home, again, apparently he's on the phone with his friends, right? And then he gets back to Moselle at 10 p.m. There's apparently no sign in the house that Maggie or Paul came back to the house, right? So he goes looking for them. Next stop he makes, he goes to the dog kennels. Okay? That's where Alex finds Paul in the feeding kennel with 2 shotgun blasts, close range, within 10 feet. 2 close range shotgun blasts, one in the chest, one in the head neck area. Like I said, he was reportedly almost decapitated. Crazy. And then he finds Maggie's body 30 yards away, shot in the leg, the wrist, and the torso, and dead checked twice in the head. Close range. The dead check was close range, obviously. If you know, dead check is, they shoot you twice to make sure you're dead. They dead check her, right? Fucking bananas. Okay? Again, she's shot with an AR. Each time, all the way up. So since the theory is she was running away, not my theory, but their theory, the running theory is that she was running away. That's why the shots go up her body, and then she hit the ground, they dead check her, right? They don't use the word dead check. I said dead check. They just say she shot twice washes on the ground. But they fucking dead check her, right? But this news reporter is like, no one has come out to say, no one has come out to confirm that Alex was really with his mother. Like the nurse aide hasn't said, yeah, he came to see her. Like nobody else knows for a fact that he went to see his mother, and his mother has dementia, so he's got no alibi. And then somebody raised the question of, well, why was Maggie even at Moselle? Because there was rumors that she was filing for divorce or whatever. But either way, she was for sure staying at their other property in Edisto. Some people believe Maggie was staying in Edisto because of the potential divorce. But then the running story is, after the boat crash, it was just too much. And, small town, everybody's talking, so she just wanted to separate herself, so she went to Edisto. Either way, Maggie's supposed to be in Edisto. So why is she at Moselle the night of the double homicide, right? So, supposedly, Alex asked Maggie to come to Moselle that night. And supposedly, Maggie texted one of her friends and was like, that's us, he's up to something. But she went anyway. But supposedly, the report that says, she texted her friend that, also says when she went to Moselle, she went straight to the dog kennels. And then she hopped out the car and left her car running before she was murdered. Right? Sidebar. How do you know that? How do you know she left the car running? But whatever, right? Like nobody, so I say all that to say, nobody can prove that the family dinner even happened that night. Right? Right? Hypothetically, right? If Maggie is looking to file a divorce, obviously she want to know where her cut gonna be, right? So she do a financial audit, or she has somebody do a financial audit of Alex, and then they find him embezzling money, right? Supposedly, hypothetically. And then, but, okay, getting down to the conclusions, all of the Hampton County residents are convinced that it was an internal family thing. Like, Connor's dad was like, no one has the balls to try and kill a Murdaugh. Like, which I agree, because niggas didn't even want to name drop them. People were scared to name drop them and say that they were even involved. Why would somebody try to kill them? Because, obviously when Maggie and Paul died, they instantly looking at everybody from the boat crash, their families, and everybody else, right? But, nobody wanted to step to the Murdaughs. So, all of Hampton County thinks it was something within the family, right? Now, Alex, let's thicken the plot a little bit more. Alex is found with blood spatter on him. The closer you are to a person when you shoot them, the more blood spatter will be on you, right? 2 + 2 is 4. And then add on the force with which the gun releases the bullet, I guess. So that way, like, the force with which the bullet hits the body, right? So again, shotguns are there's gonna be a lot of blood spatter. ARs, not as much, but there's still gonna be a whole lot of blood spatter, right? Okay. The defense lawyer says, of course, of course he had blood on him. When he found the 2 bodies, he touched the bodies. Like he apparently rolled Paul over to make sure he was alive and then checked on Maggie. So like, duh, he's gonna have blood on him, right? But then his other defense attorney, I guess for like maybe later during the frauds or whatever, because this second defense attorney was also Paul's attorney for the boat crash, which again, conflict of interest much, but he's like, it's not a conflict of interest because I don't think Alex did it, whatever, right? But so the second defense attorney is like, blood spatter is accepted when it comes to hard surfaces, right? Like if there's blood spatter on the wall or if there's blood spatter on a table, like hard surfaces, blood spatter analysis is valid. But apparently blood spatter is junk science when it comes to that of clothing. What? Like, you can't have both, but whatever, right? That's what he's saying. And then at the end of Low Country, you're hearing like the recorded prison call of Alex talking to Buster, and Alex is trying to get Buster to go back to Moselle because Buster is talking about how he's wherever he's at and he's going hunting and whatever. So Alex asks him, well, do you want to go back to Moselle and do the hunting there? Because it's their hunting grounds. They have 1,800 acres. He's like, nobody's been there. Like, it should be full of deer and all kind of stuff. Buster's like, why would I go back there? Like, no. Right? Okay. Now, in conclusion, in May of 2022, Alex pled guilty to stealing the $4.3 million from Gloria's family. He's facing 90 charges, I think it was. Yeah, Alex faces 90 charges, including double homicide for Paul and Maggie, right? Plus all the other fraud, theft, forgery, whatever. Corey Fleming and Russell Lafitte is the family in charge of the banking in Hampton. Again, they run the whole system, okay? If one system is corrupt, it's all corrupt, right? So Corey Fleming and Russell Lafitte each face over 20 charges in relation to fraud, but maintain their innocence, right? But they're awaiting trial. Okay? So on the record, Alex shot them both. Alex killed them for whatever reason, and that's what they're going with. Let me tell you my theory though. I don't think Alex did it. I think Buster did it, but Alex was there. Right? Because Alex had to be there. Alex knows what happened one way or the other because he had blood spatter on him, right? But my first thought was, I'm gonna insert the pictures for you. This blood spatter is not enough for you to have shot them, right? So either you were wearing like some sort of protective gear, like you had on a vest or whatever, but you missed, like obviously the vest doesn't cover everything, so you missed the spot. So either you had on a protective vest or you were there and saw what happened, you were just further back, so the less blood spatter got on you, right? Work with me here, right? Stay with me, right? So my theory is Buster shot Paul, right? Because the whole family was like, Paul's the first one to ever face charges, period. Paul is causing too much commotion. Paul's been in trouble too many times. Paul gotta go, okay? Family put a hit on Paul, and I think Buster did it. I don't know if they was getting into it, like because Buster's the golden boy, if the family, like the grandpa and whoever sent Buster to be like, to tell him to check his little brother, and they got into it, and Buster, pow, like, or Buster just took it upon himself to be like, look, oh, like either Buster was sent to do the hit, or like Buster was sent to talk to Paul to like try to talk him down, try to get him to, you know, level out. But they got into it and Buster got heated and shot him, right? I don't know which one it was, but either way, I think Buster shot Paul, but Alex was there. Okay? Again, if it was a hit, obviously Alex knows about it. That explains why he was there and didn't try to stop it. Okay? Because he gotta go. Paul gotta go. Now, Maggie, I think, was collateral damage. I don't know if she came upon it and saw, like, as Paul's body was hitting the ground, and then she tried to like run away. That's how she got shot up, and then she hit the floor, and then ta-ta, dead checker. But I think it was a hit on Paul. Maggie saw some shit that she shouldn't have saw, and she had to go too. Just cause Alex and the father, just cause the father, the continuation of the lineage, is willing to kill his son, this mother is not like, you're not about to kill my son, like, right? I'm not having it. And they obviously can't have no witnesses, so she gotta go too. So my theory is Buster shot Paul and the mother was collateral damage. Now again, in the context of Maggie being collateral damage, I don't know if Alex handled that, because why is she shot with an AR-15 and Paul is shot with a shotgun? Like, again, it just got heated. Buster picked up the shotgun, pow, twice. But the AR-15 was also sitting there, so when Alex looks over, he sees Maggie running away or whatever, picks up the 15, tick, 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 3 times. Buster walks over, dead checks her. Because again, there's no, or maybe Alex dead checks her, but either way, there's not enough blood spatter for you to have directly stood over her and shot her twice in the head, right? Either way, I think Buster shot Paul and Alex was present. The mother was just collateral damage. Okay? Now, Paul was the first to even face charges, face indictment, right? They don't like that. They're not having that. He had to go 3 days before the trial even started, right? In the process of dealing with Paul's issues, now the dad is on the rap for charges. He's bare minimum going down for embezzlement. So what's the big deal with throwing on a murder charge, right? The father's already going to prison, okay? He's already going. So you might as well take the rap and leave Buster to continue the lineage, right? That just makes sense. Buster is the golden boy. Buster is the studious one. All right, he gay, but we can keep that under wraps. We can beat that out of him, like, right? He's the gay one, but he'll be gay in secret. Like, Buster behaves. Buster does what he's told. So, I don't know if Grandpa went to Buster and was like, yo, handle your brother, or what it was. But Buster is the golden boy. Somebody got to continue the lineage. Little brother's dead. Dad's going to jail. We're still the Murdaughs, you know? Like, so I think my theory is Buster shot Paul. Alex was there. The mother was collateral damage. That's my theory. How and why that lined up, I don't know. But I just gave you like 4 different ways that it could have went. Either way, Buster did it. The father's taking the rap because he's already going down for other shit. The mother was just collateral damage. Now, my remaining questions and the questions that will help me put the theory together, whose blood was it? Like, we don't know whose blood, or they haven't told us whose blood spatter was on Alex. Like, was it Paul's blood? Was it Maggie's blood? Like, whose blood was it? Right? Question number 1. Question number 2, where was Buster when all this was happening? In the defense attorney's story, the family dinner was Alex, Maggie, Paul. Where was Buster? In the other version told, where Maggie just goes straight to the kennels or whatever, nobody mentions Buster. Where is Buster during all of this? No, Buster's name is not mentioned ever once. Like, where is Buster when all this is happening? Right? Third question, most obvious question. Where all the money at? Where's the money at? Like, all the 10 million that he stole? Where's the money at? Because, and me and Mom was going back and forth about this because, not back and forth, but she was trying to make it make sense. And I'm like, but it doesn't make sense. Because if they look through all the transactions of Forge to see all of the amounts going into that account, shouldn't they see if a certain amount was wired to another account? Or if a certain amount of money was taken out in cash? Because, you got to have a cash stash, right? They should be able to see where the money went after it came into the Forge account. So where's the money at? Now, I think somehow, some way they got it in cash. Because, like, again, Buster needs some money. If Dad's going down, Buster needs some money, right? Mom thinks it's overseas somewhere. But again, it had to leave the Forge account to go to the other accounts. So where's the transaction for that? Like, it's not like the account balance isn't sitting at 10 million. And they weren't flying in private jets and buying jewelry. Like, it's not like, so where's the money at? Now, what made me say earlier that, I might have to bring that up, was because the life insurance policy that Buster would be getting if Alex died was 10 million. I don't know. But that's my theory. I'm solving the case. Buster did it. Alex was present, and he know who did it for real. That's why they're still keeping certain details under wraps. But he's like, fuck it, I'm going down for the embezzlement. I'll take this rap too. And let Buster go on and live his life and continue the lineage. That's my theory. Now, I'm going to rewatch season 1 of the Netflix documentary and then watch season 2, because apparently there's even more detail in season 2. And then we're going to run this back and we're going to do part 2 and see if my theory changes. But highly recommend. Very, very good story. Crazy story. Wish it was fiction, but it's not. So, that is the Murdaugh murders. Comment below if you think my theory is too much. Comment below if you've seen them and what you think, and just your opinion, period. Let's discuss. Talk to me. Yeah. If you made it to the end of the video and you don't know me, hi. My name's Naori. Stick around, love it here. Duh. Embrace being a star. Subscribe. Follow my socials. Friday's video is already scheduled and gonna go up on time. Next week, Tuesday's video is already scheduled and going up on time. I have footage and stuff to already edit, so next week, Friday, will also already be up and ready and on time. I still have to drop September's book club because I forgot to drop that because I didn't post in October. Like, just the rest of the month is gonna be fine. No more procrastinating. I gotta get back in my bag. I gotta get back in my routines. Told you I'm back like I never left. We outside, okay? I will see you in my next video. Bye. I'd rather be smoking weed.